So we've got some great companies. We've got a great evening ahead of us today, and welcome to all of you online as well. And so, without further ado, it's with gratitude and respect that we acknowledge that we're gathered here today on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. There we go. We could not be here today without our amazing sponsors. So we have a number of really great sponsors that we have curated for the betterment of both our investor base and the companies that present here at Vantec. One I'd like to shout out in particular is Manning Elliott. We're in their office today, beautiful-ish day today, but no, really appreciate having Manning Elliott host us, and I'd like to introduce Michael Weatherby to tell us a little bit more about Manning Elliott. Do you want to use the mic?
Thanks, Aaron. Just want to welcome everyone here today, and just remind you, Manning Elliott's a full-service accounting and advisory firm. Just wanted to point out the Manning Elliott members that are here today, just in case you want to chat with them about anything. Alden Nauman is a long-term advisor and interested in bringing investors from Asia. Lots of experience with that, and investor in health tech, and I think he said oil as well. And then Raymond at the back there. He's another long-time partner at Manning Elliott and lots of experience with Asian investment and all that kind of stuff. And then Dave, are you here as well? Oh, I think you stepped out. Anyway, thank you very much, and please connect with any of the Manning Elliott people if you have any interesting stories. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We also are partners with NRC IRAP. They help us put on the workshops and other things that we do for the entrepreneurs to help them get investor ready and ready for the conversations that they're going to have with you both here and afterwards. And we also are partners with Keiretsu Forum. And Greg is not here today, but Keiretsu is sort of we see it as one of the next steps after Vantec. They sort of help companies raise their C+ and Series A rounds. And so if you're interested in learning more, I'm happy to connect you, and you can find more about them online as well. We are a community, and I just want to give a little bit of an overview for those who are new here and maybe considering becoming a Vantec member. So we have 11 pitches a year. We take August off to enjoy the sun, and we have over 100 companies pitch at our events over the year. Obviously, it's a great opportunity to connect with other angel investors and share in due diligence and co-invest alongside one another, and also an opportunity to promote not just your programs and events, but also any companies that you're looking to invest in or you're doing due diligence on. I'm happy for you to get up and say a few words and tell us why we should either be looking to bring them to Vantec or be looking to co-invest and close out the round with you. We also have our summer social that's confirmed for July 9th this year. So members, you should have all received an email for your early access to that. Do sign up because it will sell out. We're doing it on the rooftop of the Stack building alongside BDC, and it sold out last year, and it was a great event, so I definitely encourage you to get your ticket. We also use Dealum for our back office system. This is where you get all the information about the companies that present at Vantec, both current and past, so you can see the pitch decks and videos of the past presentations, all on Dealum. Really, really good place to kick off that due diligence and qualify to find the companies that really appeal to you. You may, if you're a member, you should have a clipboard with a new interest card. This is something we are trialing new this month. Just want to give a quick sort of overview of this. So with the 90-second presenters, we are going to be voting for the top 90-second presenter, and they are going to be invited to give a 5-minute pitch at our pre-screening for the subsequent month or maybe another month out, depending on the timeline with that company. So do just check off one of the 90-second companies with a top pitch, whichever one you think was the best. Also, if you're interested in being a sponsor for this company, and what we mean by that is coming back and introducing that company for a 5-minute pitch, telling everyone why you like the company, whether you are already invested or you're looking to do due diligence. This is a really great opportunity for you to find other people to do due diligence with you. So we really encourage our members to come in and sponsor companies. So if you would like to be a member sponsor, you can indicate that on the card. this is where we can make that introduction to the company. You obviously have all the contact information on DLM as well. And then feedback, we'll share this. If you don't check anything off, we'll share it anonymously. It's all just really, really helpful for the companies to know what our members in the audience are thinking. Then with the 5-minute pitches, this is where we have a member sponsor that's introducing the companies, and we're going to have a subsequent member-only discussion. So no founders, we're just going to get together and have a chat about whichever company it is. So you can indicate your interest for a member-only discussion on the page here. If we get more than 3, we'll organize like a video call and we'll all get together on that. If there's just 1 or 2, then we'll just make that introduction to whomever the member sponsor is, and they can coordinate whether they want to have a private session or meet one-on-one, that sort of thing. So any questions that Lindsay or myself, Sanket know, we can help you with that, but should be fairly straightforward. Do make sure to give your name and email on that as well. So with the Vantec member referral program, I'd like to ask Sanket to say a few words. Thank you so much, Sanket. Oh, you don't need this.
What plan to look
Yeah,
exactly
we
alike.
This exactly. The
But it
glasses
matches
and
the
everything.
Vantec blue as well. So thank you, Aaron. One of the things that Aaron and I were excited to roll out, just after having conversations with him on how active the Vantec community already is in bringing others along for the journey, is a way to formalize and give back to the members. So starting June 1st, what we'd like to do is anytime you refer a new member, you get $100 off your membership dues for the next year. Just make sure that when you ask the new member to sign up through DLM, that there's a new field that says who were you referred by, and make sure you just enter, they enter your name in it. We'll send out an email later with all the logistics and more guidelines around that. So excited to now give back to the community in some way for the effort that they're doing to help grow it. One of the top pieces of feedback we got from the survey that we sent out was more member-only events and a way for the community to connect with each other. So happy to say, Wednesday, June 18th, we're going to have our first member-only event. So you have to be a Vantec member to join, and we'll go from 6 to 8. We'll see what the turnout looks here, and then dependingly, we'll try and find other venues or iterate and see depending on the interest. But if you would like, you can scan the QR code right now really quickly, or we'll be sending out the details by email later as well. So leave it up there until I see phones go down.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Sanket.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. And these are some of the ideas that Sanket's brought forward. We're trying some new things and really looking to engage with the community as much as possible. I really am excited about the member-only happy hour and an opportunity for us to talk about the companies that pitched at the last event, talk about any companies that we're closing rounds with or investing in, and really give that opportunity to connect in that environment. On the member-only side of things as well, I'll keep this one up. We did ask everybody to fill in the member investor survey for 2024, and so we have had all the submissions for that, and pleased to announce that Emre Akas, who is not in the room today, did win the $100 gift card, so we will be sending that off to him. But just as an announcement, we're following through with our promise on that. We have our monthly newsletter, so we often put a lot of community announcements up on the slides here, but really they all go into our newsletter. So we thought, let's just streamline things a little bit because we're saying a lot up front here, and please sign up for the newsletter, which you can do through our website. We also have Graham here to tell us a little bit about the spring fundraising round. So if you could pull up the spring pitch deck, I'll let Graham tell us a little bit more.
Thanks, Aaron. Vantec, such a great community and such a great membership. Highly encourage you to join if you haven't already. Aaron, Lindsay, and the team have done so much to iterate new processes, new technology, new ideas. So kudos to Aaron and the team. And thanks for giving me this slot. So just a little over a year ago, I was up here talking about this fund, Spring Impact Capital. We were launching it at the time, and I'm really thrilled to announce that we are on the home stretch here. We are doing the final close for this fund. It has been a pleasure to get this off the ground. And as a reminder of the thesis, we are working at the intersection, like Vantec and like some of the other funds, at early stage, so pre-seed and seed investments, where most capital is needed and valuations are good. with the thematics of climate tech and aspects of health tech as well, with an eye to finding diverse teams, diverse in terms of their professional backgrounds and their lived experience. As a reminder, Spring is a nationwide platform. Spring itself is an accelerator that works from coast to coast. And Spring Impact Capital, the fund, is a carve-out from that, specifically working with a subset of companies. And Propel Impact works with the next generation of investment and impact leaders through universities across Canada. So our partners, so it's Keith, who many of you will know as a mentor in the system with a lot of tech expertise, Olivia, who's here, will put up her hand, and myself. So between us, a variety of finance, consulting, investing, and tech experience. We're supported by a great group of advisors. Praveen is here, one of them, which ensures really good deal flow and making sure we make the right decisions at the deal-making stage and the exit stage. And you all are involved in angel investing, which is critical for the ecosystem. It's also worth noting how important it is to work with funds as well. And I know Mike Volker and Teams from eFund have made the same pitch that with a fund you get diversification, you get a bigger N for your portfolio, you get access to more deals, you get good diligence, you get something that's time efficient for you, and of course a structure that allows the fund to double down in winners, which angels often aren't able to do. So just wrapping up, we have $9 million committed. We have well over 30 investors at this point, 20 of which are angels and family offices, and a lot of great institutions here that have put a lot of diligence into their decision to invest with us. And on the portfolio side, we already have 7 companies, diligence to a whole lot of companies coast to coast, and a nice little portfolio that is growing and doing exceedingly well. So if you're interested, we have a fund close at the end of the month. Pretty standard terms for a VC fund. And if you're interested in learning more, we've got an info session on next Tuesday, which you're welcome to join. And if not, if that doesn't work for you, just send me an email or come find Olivia and I in the social part of this session. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Cheers. Actually, let's keep that up real quick. Let's go back to it, just in case I saw some phones out, so we'll just pull it up, give you another moment here. There you go. We'll give another minute there. Fantastic, and I saw a number of presenters from Vantec on your portfolio already, so great to see you actively investing in the companies that present here. All right, let's go back to the slides here. Last announcement that I have is just on our summer social. I already said it, July 9th. Make sure to get that ticket ASAP. We are going to be ending the early access today, and so if you haven't got one yet, please make sure to do so. All right, now into why you are all here today, to dive into some of these amazing companies and hear some great pitches. So we've got 6 90-second presenters, and we've got 4 5-minute presenters. The 5-minute presenters are going to be introduced, and we're going to do something a little bit different with the 90-second presenters today. We like to try new things here at Vantec. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Chris from IntelliMass to come and join me on stage here. And the thing that we're doing that's slightly different, before we dive into the 90-second pitch, I'd just like to give you a minute to tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to starting IntelliMass.
Well, it's as with probably everybody in this room, the career is a windy path, not a straight line. Starting out in market research, analysis, and ending up managing a public company on an advanced automotive technology. It was there that I met my current co-founder, Ryan Gallagher, over there. And we started to explore some of the implications around measuring the relationship between the vehicle and the ground, the COG, and found the opportunity that we realized we couldn't pass up, and it was a time to push our chips into the middle. We're both Gen Xers. I think that that matters because we came of age in the dawn of the digital era, and I think that makes us uniquely equipped to embrace the analog roots of what's always worked for business, but lean into the more disruptive technologies that can fix stubborn and persistent problems like the one I'm about to tell you about.
Fantastic. All right. Well, without further ado, let's put 90 seconds on the clock, and you can take it away for your presentation. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. So as I mentioned, I'm the co-founder of IntelliMass Technologies, here today to talk to you about the secret message and business opportunity I think John Denver's telling me through this song. So 5.7 million kilometers of North American rural and resource roads are mismanaged by up to 30% by grading without data intelligence. This drives up costs, increases accident rates, slows hauls, and reduces the lifespan of vehicles and the road, all on roads that are already strained by heavier loads, more traffic, and climate stress. 20 years ago, a research group proved the viability around GPS optimized grading, but the state of tech was not ready then, and it is today. We have built it, introducing IntelliScout. This is the world's first fully automated, AI-powered system to map dynamic road surfaces in real time to cut those inefficiencies and keep cargo, vehicles, and people safe. We've, for $6,000 a year annually for a mapping license, we offer enterprise-grade road intelligence for fleets hauling timber, ore, energy, and products on networks that cost them $10,000 or more a kilometer to maintain, and these traditional practices are burning billions. We've field tested a dozen prototypes. We've captured thousands of kilometers of new terrain data, and we are set for deployments with leading forestry operators. We have now, we're looking for an investment of $5,000, pardon me. We're looking for a $500,000 investment on a $3 million cap convertible note. With that, we'll be able to scale those pilots. We'll be able to finalize our MVP, submit our patents, and unlock ARR through our strategic partnerships. This is a greenfield data opportunity with ADAS autonomy and fleet tech exit potential. Help us build smarter, safer, climate-proof backroad networks with IntelliMass.ai. Thank you.
All right. Next up, I would like to introduce Gabriel from Time and Space. And Gabriel, I'm going to give you the same question. Tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to starting Time and Space.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so my background is in mechanical design and programming. I've spent the last 10 years building both physical and digital products. Of those 10 years, I spent 6 years building industrial 3D printers. And that's where I became really interested in finding ways to complement 3D, physical 3D objects, whether they're printed or not, with digital information. And that's what I'm going to show you today. I've been working on this part-time and for short periods of time full-time for the last 4 years. So I'm excited to tell you about it.
Fantastic. I'll put 90 seconds on the clock and let you take it away.
All right, thanks. So Time and Space is a platform to create and deliver information for 3D physical workflows. These are the 3D printers that I used to design, build, and sell. And the challenge I had was that I had to fly into each one of these locations and teach people on how to use the equipment, which was, of course, time-consuming and expensive. What if anyone, product managers, engineers, salespeople, could easily create 3D stories to explain how to perform complex hands-on tasks? The user would be able to experience the product as if it was a hologram right in front of them, as if it was real, which is much more intuitive than a two-dimensional workflow or content. This is a medical example with a 3D printed implantable, and by superimposing digital information on top of it, the surgeon is able to perform a better procedure, but the patient is also able to understand the final anatomy, also able to provide consent, which is necessary to even have the procedure. I've recently launched both the desktop and iOS app, and while a bit of work is needed to reach a massive audience, what makes us different is that we have the shortest time to value out of anyone out there, meaning if you only have 3D data, you could easily create a story that anybody could see anywhere in the world in just a matter of minutes compared to about an hour with the competition. I'm looking to raise $100,000 through a SAFE with a 1.5 million valuation cap and a 20% discount. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gabriel. All right, next up we have Jithan. All right, Jithan, I'm going to give you that same question. Tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to start BuildMapper.
Thanks, Aaron. So before I founded BuildMapper, I started and grew an exterior siding company, basically a construction business. And in growing that business, I was looking for ways to scale. I wasn't happy with the systems that were out there. So what I did was I built an internal system within our company. We used that tool. It helped us scale our business. We started sharing it with other companies, and next thing you know, it kind of snowballed. We started sharing it with bigger and bigger companies. And then I brought on some technical people into the team, and now we're here.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'll let you take it away.
Yep. So what we're building with BuildMapper is the first relationship intelligence engine for construction sales. So in the most relationship-driven industry, outdated processes are costing billions in lost opportunities. Most sales come from referrals, but there's no system in place to leverage that effectively. So what if instead every person you knew and every project you worked on could connect you to new deals? And that's what BuildMapper does. So we take public permit data, user data, and company data, and we create a relationship map. From there, our system using AI can find the best warm lead connections and automate the sales workflow. So every successful connection that's made feeds back into a powerful flywheel for the construction industry. And we're focused on subcontractors and building supply companies. So we've only just started scratching the surface, but we're at 480K ARR. We've raised 130,000 to date, and some of our notable clients include big supply companies like WorkSave, SuperSave Group, Coast Appliances, about 8 of the top 10 local lumber yards, and we even have a contract with WorkSafe BC. So right now, we're looking for angels just to help us with a bridge round, just to gear up, get some more traction as we plan a seed round later this year. Thank you.
All right, so next up, we have Simon Fox to introduce us to treelinefx. So Simon, tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to start treelinefx.
Hey everyone, I have a background in computer science and mathematics. I worked in early AI fields back in the 2000s, early 2000s, and had a commercial research work in computer vision. I started taking an interest in Forex trading back in 2018, just for my personal interest as a math nerd. It captivated me, and I found a pain point in the market which I really wanted to solve for myself, and I spent about 6 years working on that. And then a year ago we put together a company to try and monetize the technology, and here I am.
Fantastic. Take it away.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce you to our fintech startup company, treelinefx Technology. Our mission is to completely change the way Forex traders analyze the market. Currency trading is extremely difficult, and most retail traders lose their money. The software they're using is not fit for purpose. It's designed for trading stocks and equities and can't handle the complexity of the Forex market. We want to help level the playing field for those retail traders. We designed a novel algorithm to untangle the Forex market into unified, separate currency indexes. We built MVP software products for mobile, desktop, and web on top of this algorithm. We'd like to release these products in the second half of 2025. For institutional traders, we'd like to license the algorithm, and we have a PCT patent application pending, which we filed earlier this year. Wrong button. To validate the technology, we've done extensive backtesting with automated trading, and we have some really interesting results. The company right now is myself, a senior software developer, my business partner Vijay Domingo, an experienced businessman. We're looking to do an initial raise of $100,000 to bring these products to market and get the traction we need to move forward. We're also looking for contacts into the institutional world so that we can get licensing deals for the algorithm. Thanks very much for your time.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Simon. All right, next up, we have my elected official, or MEO, and I'd like to introduce Colin. Colin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and what brought you to start MEO?
Sure. My background's a bit of a long and winding road. High school and college, I was a bit of a programming nerd, and then I have a long career in sales and marketing, never touching any of that knowledge, but always trying to be pulled back into it. A few years ago, I was just sort of, as probably a lot of us were, I was following a lot of the politics going along, and it started highlighting some I would say some negatives in that area. And as my wife always encouraged me to do, I started looking for solutions and ideas to improve things. So with that, I came up with this company and this product that I'm going to tell you about. So
I'll hand it over to you. Take it away.
awesome. Thanks so much. Make sure I don't do this backwards. Once again, my name is Colin, and I founded a company called MEO Technologies, and we've launched an app called MEO, which stands for My Elected Official. The world's first mobile application that's designed to connect voters to all their elected officials at every level of government. So from your mayor and town council, school board trustee, to your to your MLA or MPP if you're in Ontario, to your MP. All that information collected in one spot in the palm of your hand. Right now, civic engagement is, it's broken. It's fragmented, it's outdated, it's confusing, and inefficient. Most people don't even know who their elected officials are or how to contact them, let alone how to track what they're working on or what they've worked on. Mio fixes that. In seconds, users can identify, in seconds, users can identify who their elected officials are, know how to contact them, they can look at their history on, what they voted on in the House of Commons and things like that. Regardless, users can receive real-time updates on legislation, they can take meaningful action. We're basically turning passive voters into engaged citizens. We've recently launched our app on the App Store and Google Play, and we're building an initial base of early adopters with over 600 downloads so far. And we're beginning to attract interest from civic organizations and strategic partners. Our goal, there's a little screenshot of what we're doing so far. Our goal is to be the world's largest, or to be the global leader in how users, our voters, interact with their elected. We plan on monetizing our application several ways, including but not limited to premium model, allowing voters to support their or donate to their elected officials via the apps, data licensing, advertising, things like that. We believe, we believe that democracy works best when citizens are connected. We love to partner with anyone who wants to make that a future. We're actively seeking early stage investors to help assist with our growth, expansion, and preparation for a seed round this fall. Thank you for your time. And once again, I'm calling with my elected official, and I hope you can download and take a look.
All right, our last 90-second presenter is up, and I'd like to introduce Hasti from Xpress Select. So Hasti, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to start Xpress Select?
For sure. Hi everyone, I'm Hasti, and I'm actually in my final year of pharmacy school, but I won't be going into the typical pharmacist role, as you can see. That's because I just couldn't handle the problems that I was seeing every day around me, which was that patients were waiting way too long, and then pharmacists were way too overwhelmed. So I partnered up with another pharmacy student, Hannah, who happened to be my best friend of over 12 years, and together we launched Xpress Select, a digital platform where patients can come to us and we're the digital care hub for them. And then we joined forces with Josh, who's right there. He's a software engineer with several years of experience in the startup world. And yeah, we've been moving fast ever since. And we're not just streamlining pharmacies, we're actually reimagining the front doors to healthcare. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you, Hasti. And just before I hand over to you, we met when you were doing a pitch competition for UBC. It was SOAR?
SOAR, yeah.
SOAR, exactly. And Hasti and Hannah ended up winning that competition, so congrats on that. And I'll hand over to you to give us your 90-second pitch.
Thank you so much. Hopefully expectations aren't too high with that. But yeah, so as mentioned, I'm Hasti. I'm the co-founder of Xpress Select. We're a team of pharmacists joined with by a software engineer, and together we've built a patient-facing platform that is going to redesign the way that care hubs are in pharmacies. And we started this because we realized that the system is broken. Patients are waiting way too long, and it takes weeks to find a doctor's appointment. The government tried to solve this by expanding the scope of practice for pharmacists, which sort of helped, but pharmacists are still overwhelmed. And so patients are still bouncing from pharmacies to clinics to urgent care just to get basic help. And so Xpress Select fixes that. We let patients input their symptoms to either get an over-the-counter recommendation, an assessment by the pharmacist, or get referred to the right healthcare provider. And after launching just a few months ago, we're already live in over 10 pharmacies, and where they're paying customers, and we're generating them time and revenue. And we've also partnered with companies like Merck. So pharmacies are choosing us because we're flipping the model. We're putting the waiting patient to work instead of adding more pharmacist-facing tools to the already overburdened pharmacists. And we envision a future where patients don't have to wait anymore, and they use our platform to triage their symptoms and get routed to the right care instantly. And our current fundraising round is $250,000, where we're hoping to reach 100 more pharmacies and and also expand our D2C marketing, which we would love some help navigating that as well. So if you're interested in that and excited, please come chat with me after and Josh.
All right, so those were our 90-second presenters. I should have mentioned that in addition to the paper copy, there is an online version to show your interest. So if you want to scan this, you'll be able to vote for the top 90 seconds. So remember, that's something to do with all the companies that we just saw, which one was your favorite from today, and also whether you're interested in being a member sponsor or have any feedback for them. So please do share that. All right, on to our 5-minute presenters. So the first presenter I'd like to introduce is Amir from ApriCell. And so I am going to be the member sponsor for Amir. Come and join me up here, Amir. So what drew me to this company and why I really like what Amir has built is that, excuse me, they are in market, they're with revenue, and there's no regulatory approval required for this at this point. So we're already very de-risked. We've got a great progress already coming in at a great valuation and really great pipeline of both customers and distributors. So we'll get into all of that, or allow Amir to get into all of that. So Amir, hand it over to you.
So I have some product to showcase in the Q&A structure here. Yeah.
Well, you can have that on your table afterwards, unless you want to hand it out right now for people to look at. You've got samples, so people can come up afterwards and look at it during networking.
Okay,
Yeah, just leave it up here for now. Yeah, fantastic, no worries. All right, we'll put 5 minutes on the clock and let you take it away.
Okay. Can it?
Yes.
Everyone, I'm Dr. Seyfouri, CEO of ApriCell Biotechnology, where we are accelerating drug discovery with the next generation of 3D tissue modeling platform. Imagine spending billions of dollars on preclinical drug development to face 92% failure rate in clinical trials. One of the significant root cause of such a huge failure rate is a lack of predictive and reliable human mimic tissue models for in vitro drug efficacy testing stage. One of the current existing solutions, preclinical tissue modeling, are 3D bioprinted and organs on a chip systems. And these platforms are difficult to use, are complex, and in most cases they cannot generate the reproducible results. On the other end of this spectrum are 2D preclinical models which are too simple and cannot recapitulate the complexity of human tissue microenvironment. At ApriCell, we are bridging this gap. We're combining the microfluidic with the standard SPS culture. Our technology is a plug-and-play hydrogel insert within the culture plate that can provide the patient-relevant organic tissue models within the dynamic microenvironment with controlled oxygen level, which is so crucial for modeling most of the microphysiological. Our technology can provide a high-throughput platform with integrated biomarker sensing system that finally will yield to decreasing the time and cost of the preclinical trials. At ApriCell, we have two categories of products. The first one is 3D tissue culture plates, and the second one is 3D tissue organoid models, which are made from human-derived tissues and form the assay-ready organic tissue arrays for end users. And right now, we are working on developing a couple of these patient-derived organoids on our proprietary platform with different readiness levels. The opportunity of preclinical model market is massive, but within this market, we are targeting organoid model market with a value of $1 billion. And with the recent announcement of the FDA Modernization Act that promote drug developers to use organs on the chip system as an alternative to animal testing, it has provided a massive tailwind for ApriCell to get adopted within this market. Our customer profile in organoid model market are academia and research centers, preclinical CROs with a focus on oncology and organoid-based screening, and also pharma and biotech companies. And right now we are working collaboratively with several of these research centers around the world, which the most significant one is Massachusetts General Hospital and BC Cancer. ApriCell technology is offering a couple of competitive advantages. The first one is like a palm-place and easy-to-use platform that is compatible with cell dispensing automation systems. Our platform can recreate the range of complexity in tissue microenvironment and also can facilitate organ-to-organ and multi-organ models. Also, it can provide the control level of microenvironment, and our platform can be integrated into real-time biomarker sensing. That these two recent features are not found in our competitors and unique for ApriCell. The business model of ApriCell is based on 3 pillars. The first one is product sales through our own internal channel and also distributor channel. And right now we are working with 6 life science distributors around the world. Starting 2026, we are going to expand to contract services with a focus on toxicity and efficacy testing. And starting 2027, we are going to license the IP of our tissue models to relevant pharma and biotech companies. ApriCell is a revenue-generated company, and we are on track to hit around $500,000 revenue by 2020. And followed by this round of seed funding, we can accelerate our assay-ready tissue models and contract services and hit around $3 million in revenue by the end of 2028. Over the 18 months ago, we launched 3 products. We expanded to Europe and US market and filed 3 intellectual properties. And followed by this seed round, we can launch our 4th product and also continue development of 3D organic assay, and we can file 2 more intellectual properties. Also, these funding can help us to launch 1 more product and continue development of sensor-integrated 3D tissue plates and assay-ready plates. And finally, by the end of 2027, we can launch this product. Also, this funding can help us to expand our unit cell from 200 to 4,500 by the end of 2020. Our team includes me as CEO and CSO. We are working with Dr. Amir Aref, who is responsible for translational research and development, and Dr. Surek, who is responsible for business and strategic alliances. We are also working with a wonderful team with different backgrounds in engineering design, model development, and sales and marketing. And today, with a pre-money value of $5 million, we are asking for $700,000 for. And so far, we have mostly bootstrapped with an equivalent value of $200 Canadian, and your investment today can help us to increase the revenue to $2 million and increase the value of the company to $15 million in the future. Let's reduce clinical failure and save lives together.
Great job on the time. I saw that was exactly 5 minutes. Perfect. All right. So we're going to open it up for Q&A if anyone has any. We've got one at the front here. Do we have the microphone? Yeah. So let's start with Abdul.
Hi there. I don't understand, sorry. Just can you elaborate a little bit more about your product and what are you using? How are you reducing it? Is it 3D printed tissue?
Okay,
so aspect or something like that, aspect.
It's totally different from
aspect. Yeah, so I think I saw there.
Yeah, so let me go back. So
we're invested in aspect and Voxel. So how are you different than them?
Voxel is one of our competitors. Aspect is not our competitors, because they are using 3D bioprinting for making, therapeutic tissues. But Voxel is also using 3D bioprinting for making these tissue models. And what differentiates us from Voxel or some other competitors in the market is that we are focusing on different approaches. So we are not using 3D bioprinting. We are using organoids. So there are micro tumor avatars that can mimic the human tissue. And we have as it is over there. Let me show you.
So you grow those cells basically instead of printing them?
Sorry?
You grow them instead of printing them?
Yeah, we grow the cells in this platform, in this culture plates. And we have hydrogel insert in these culture plates, and so we make organoid models. And our products, first one is selling these plates to our customers, and the second line of products is making these tissue models inside this platform and selling these tissue models to our customers. So CRO companies and pharma companies, and the future, as I mentioned, we are going to license these tissue models. And the other thing that differentiates us from the other companies is that, I didn't bring that today, but we are making the, miniaturized hypoxia chamber which can control the oxygen level. It's very important. In most of the competitors in the market, they don't have such a, opportunity. And by controlling the oxygen level, we can mimic different types of tissues. Like when you come from breast cancer to pancreatic cancer to brain tumor, they show the different level of oxygen level. So you need to have such a facility to be able to control the level of oxygen. So we are working on that. It's one of our products in the future. We are now developing that. Yeah.
Does that work for personalized medicine too? Like if I have a sample from a patient, would I be able to replicate that?
Exactly. So we get the sample like a biopsy from patients and make them single cell and grow that in our platform and make the tumor avatars. Yeah. I would go help.
Mike.
Do you have an IP mode?
Yes, we have IP. So yeah, we have we started with provisional patent, and then we had like PCT patents, and after national phase entry, now we have in Canada and US, so we have filed our patent in Canada and US, and with this funding, so we can file 3 more intellectual property. So, and yeah.
Filed, not issued.
No, it is not issued. Yeah, we just filed it. Yeah, we are not granted. Yeah.
When were they filed?
For US and Canada, starting 2025. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to steal the microphone. Could you tell us a little bit about your sales pipeline? I talked a bit about what you, what you've built out both on the customer side and the distribution network. So maybe just touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, very good question. So let me go to the slides, the back of the slide here. So yeah, sales pipeline. So we are targeting around like $900,000. So from a customer. So we have 2 channels of like customers from an internal channel. So and also from a distributor channel. So from internal channel, so our prospect is like 200 customers, so for 2025, and from a distributor is 250 customers. So, and totally from our internal channel, so we can get, we prospect to get like $600,000 per year, and from a distributor, so we can get $300,000 per year. And finally, so not all the customers will end up to like, not all the target prospects will end up to the final customers. So our final customers will generate around $500,000 for us, yeah, in 2025.
Do you have LOIs from those? Do you have like those discussions already?
LOIs, yeah, we have some LOIs, yeah, from our, strategic like customers like Massachusetts General Hospital and most of our like distributors because we have agreement with them. But with these research centers like BC Cancer and Massachusetts General Hospital, which are 2 significant of our customers, yeah, we have.
Any other questions? I see one at the back. Oh, sorry, EBC.
Eligible?
EBC eligible? Yes, I believe you are EBC eligible. Let's go to Olivia just behind you there.
Hi, I'm Samir. Just because you've been in sales for, I think you said a year and a half, I'm curious like how many of your clients have had reoccurring purchases of the product and what that pipeline looks like.
So it's a really great question. So from our own internal channels, so far 50% of our clients are recurring customers. So and for our own distributor channels, so they have so far they have provided some information to us. So it's around like 40% of them are recurring. Yeah. But it depends on what type of customer we're talking about. So when we're talking about like some customers in research centers and like organic core labs or something, so potentially, so the rate of recurrence in them is more than like the individual recurrence from the small labs. So, and right now we're in the process to like make some good agreements with a couple of significant organic core centers in the United States, and hopefully we can get more recurrent customers.
We've got one last question at the back of the room there, if you want to pass the mic to Rob.
You mentioned that it was a $1 billion market. How much of that market do you think you're going to capture in, let's say, 5 to 7 years?
In 5 or 7 years, yeah? So hopefully we can, capture penetration market like 20% or something, yeah. So yeah, it depends. It depends. That's actually, we have defined our approach, yeah. So, but we have different types of like revenue models. It is not just selling product; it's like selling tissue models. But so it is not just only limited to something that I mentioned here. So, like organic model market value is $1 billion, but organic model market is not just limited to like tissue modeling. So, organic model market can also be used for making some tissues, like tissue fabrication. So, and right now we have some products which is potentially like applicable to that field as well. So just for like tissue modeling for drug discovery and drug development, so maybe 20%, but for the other applications, we hope that we can increase that content.
Thanks so much, Mir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Lydia and Praveen to tell us a little bit about Mahalo.
So it's my pleasure to introduce Mahalo. It's a fintech that I co-founded a year ago, and I've got actually quite a bit of money into it already. And this is actually my second go at fintech. I co-founded a company called Mogo, which did a $50 million IPO on the Toronto Stock Exchange, $10 a share. Really proud to say that a lot of our initial investors who put $50,000 at the beginning made $1 million on the IPO, so it was a good exit. And Mahalo means thank you in Hawaiian, and I think it's a much bigger idea than Mogo. It solves the problem of tipping in a cashless world, which is an untapped gold mine. As cash disappears, billions in tips are going uncollected. And Mahalo captures this lost revenue with a frictionless, no hardware solution. Perfect for hotels, the service and service workers in the gig economy. And after our recent launch, we're finding that there's so many other markets for the platform, like churches and concerts and street buskers. And our solution makes every cash-reliant niche a new revenue stream. And so basically it's one product, endless verticals. It's like having a POS in your pocket. We've got a strong team that's done a lot with very little. So we're hoping to get some more funding so we can really crank the sucker. And I'm going to have Lydia tell you more about the company.
I mean, I almost don't have to, do you?
Now that all of the thunder is stolen, no, thank you so much for being appreciated. I'll hand over to you, Lydia, and let you take it away.
Great. My allergy pills are finally kicking in, so you can probably understand what I'm saying with this amazing hay fever. And if not, we have Katarina, our Chief of Revenue. You can ask her questions afterwards as well. So I'm Lydia, the CEO of Mahalo, your personal point of sales in your pocket. All you need is a Mahalo card. So we live in a society that's quickly going cashless. You know, when you want to tip your valet guy, but you don't have any cash, or you want to donate, but you don't have any cash, that's where Mahalo comes in. Hotel staff claims that they made 4x the tips pre-COVID. That's a lot of money for someone who's relying on tips. We have partnered with Azure Hotel downtown, and we're looking to scoop up 110 hotels within the next 90 days. Solopreneurs, they're all part-time workers, side gigs. 40% of businesses in Canada do not qualify for a POS system. We currently have 70 solopreneurs working with us. And then we have nonprofits and charities. There are 85,000 charities in just Canada, and they are reporting a 10% year-over-year decline in donations. We're talking billions of dollars that they're missing out on. We recently partnered with Filipino BC for Lapu-Lapu Day, and they processed over 260 transactions in one afternoon using Mahalo. So how does it work? So say you want to tip, donate, or pay. All you need to do is tap the buskers or the service provider's Mahalo card with your phone. It connects to your digital wallet. It only takes a few seconds. We're happy to give you a demo after the presentations. Just come and see us at a table. And we launched mid-April and been doing really well, actually. So we have about 80 early customers, done over 350 transactions, and our average transaction value is $15, which is actually $5 more than all our competitors. Here are some of our partners and customers, and as you can see, we have some big names in the pipeline that we're currently in discussion with. So how do we make money? We currently waived our fees during the pilot, but we're looking at a 1.5% transaction fee for individual users and 5% for charities and nonprofits. Nonprofits, I would like to say that that's also our main customers right now. We are launching a virtual card very soon, and we will be charging 25 cents per payment, as well as our virtual credit card, and we will be able to collect money both on remittance transfer and credit card fees. Some stats we already talked about. We are looking to raise $600,000 for a seed round to expand across Canada and the Caribbean. And that money is going to get us to break even. And some of our key milestones before that is building out our lending platform and remittance platform. We are about to launch our virtual credit card, and it will hopefully also get us ready for a Series A. And to do that, we have a pretty exceptional team with a lot of industry experience, with several people on the team that are serial entrepreneurs and have global business experience, as well as we have a very strong business and sales team led by Katarina. And we have so far haven't spent a single dollar on advertisement or marketing. It's been all word of mouth, and we're looking into getting our cards distributed at gift cards and grocery stores, and then expand globally. So ultimately, we will be an ethical payday lender for income we help generate. An early user of Mahalo. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll get into questions here. I see one right at the front here. Mike, why don't you kick us off?
Thanks. It's interesting that you said you don't need to advertise it and it's word of mouth, but it strikes me that this kind of business is exactly one where you want to spend millions and millions to promote it so that you can capture that market and get a foothold before someone else comes in and eat your lunch.
Yeah, I mean, so far we haven't spent any money. We will eventually be spending money on the marketing and paid ads, but so far we have not.
So that's not a plus statement then?
Pardon?
That's not a positive statement to make then?
Isn't it? That we've been able to generate this much by not spending any money?
Well, okay, I take it back. It just sounds like you're saying that you're not going to promote it heavily.
Oh, no, of course we will. But we haven't spent any money on marketing and paid ads so far.
And if I can just carry on with that question, maybe what is the main strategy for getting in front of your customers and converting them into paying customers?
Right now, or
well, as you move forward?
Yeah. So right now, we have done a lot of word of mouth in our street team. Katharina has a very good experience in raising money for charities. So her charity and nonprofit network's been really good, as well as a lot of the hotels that we're in discussion with all comes from the network that we have. And we're looking at getting our card distributed in bodegas and grocery stores, which will make it very easy and take down our CAC.
I'm going to jump in one more before I hand over to you, Abdul. Sorry, I'm hogging the mic today. I didn't see anything about the competitive landscape. I know there are competitors, some that have tried and failed and are kind of zombies, but there are others out there. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the competitive landscape.
Sure, we actually do have a slide for that. So Mahalo is the only fintech in Canada that's fintech approved, and we are deviceless. We're also more than tip. We are going to be able to offer a POS system, and that's where a lot of value comes in, as well as B2B features with the hotels. The hotels are able to collect reviews. They can see their staff. They can collect. There's so much data points that we're going to be able to collect for our customers. For example, our nonprofits and charities, we're seeing a lot of traction from them, and where we bring a lot of value is if you think about the donors that will just tip $5, $10 in a bucket, they don't know who they are. When they use the Mahalo card, we collect who is this person. We can collect this data, provide the nonprofit and charity with this data that's valuable for them. They can then follow up and and we can also issue tax receipts. It's a big value add. Thank you, Rudy. So yeah. Sorry.
Hi there. So I don't really understand what's your business exactly. Are you providing the card, or are you providing are you on the receiving end or on the giving end? That's my question.
So Mahalo is used as we're the vehicle for them to receive money. So you use your Mahalo card to receive money, but it goes into your Mahalo wallet. Then you can either spend it or transfer it into your own bank account.
So I don't have to have that card to pay somebody. I can tip with my credit card.
This is to receive money.
Okay. So who's processing your payments in the background?
Stripe. For now, yeah, for now.
Got a question at the front here.
I just want to talk about fraud. So how do you handle that? Usually financial transactions are very exposed, like most credit card companies put like 2%.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Fraud.
Fraud.
Yes.
So we have a KYC process, which is know your customer. Everyone needs to use their ID. We have an ID process. We use Verif as a third party. So it's very safe. We've done a lot of testing to make sure that it's not used in fraudulent ways.
And if someone used it fraudulently on somebody else's credit card, is there a way, who would be responsible for it? Is the credit card company?
So when you sign up, you connect it to your bank account. It's connected with your ID. If anyone steals your card, the only thing they can do is actually just give you more money. So you lose your card, no one can get to your money. They can just give you money.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I think you said you were FinTrack approved as well? Yeah, got it. Okay, just behind you to Graham there with a question.
I can imagine somebody who will really love this is CRA. I'm wondering how you're thinking about regulatory as we bring tipping to a formalized platform. Yeah, how are you thinking about that? What does that mean for CRA, IRS starting to dip in? And what does that mean for your user experience who is used to getting that cash in their pocket as opposed to having to pay tax on it?
I mean, they're also, you gotta remember that we're actually helping them collect more money.
Yeah,
So
totally
at the
agree.
end of the day,
They've lost
they're
more
gonna-
than they will pay, but curious.
Compliance questions, I'm not the compliance officer, but we've done, yeah. We do, yeah, I'm just not the compliance officer.
Yeah.
Is this something you wanna answer, maybe, Rudy?
$400, we send them a form that they have to pay taxes, they can't use Mahalo anymore.
Yep.
That's basically how it works.
Okay,
Everybody
we've
wins?
got time for 2 more questions. I've got one online and then one at the back there. All right, so let's go with Mark. Let's go with Mark first. Keep us the...
Okay, Pavi is asking online, how do they compete with Interact Payment? Because Interact has enabled one-time contact emails, where one-time contact don't need to register the emails.
So a lot of people actually don't have Canadian bank accounts. So we're also gonna, that's a massive market when we launch our virtual credit card. We're basically helping the unbanked get a credit card, right? Because we are gonna underwrite our cards with when they use it, so to speak. And what else was I gonna say? Yeah.
Got the last one. Sorry, Landa, we don't have time for you. We've got one at the back. I don't know your name though. Go to the back. Yes.
Thanks. Sorry if I'm asking a question that is obvious to everybody else. I still kind of don't get it. So you've got the person who's getting tipped and the person who's giving the tip. So the two questions are the person who's getting tipped, how do they get the card? Do they have to buy it? Do you just distribute it? And then the person who's giving the tip, how are they physically doing it? Do they have to have an app or how do they give the money?
You just tap your phone. I'm happy. Anyone who wants to show how it works, please just come by. It only takes a few seconds. You just tap it. It's an NFC technology. You tap it with your phone. It pops up. It takes you to an interface where you can pay. You choose your amount, connects to your Apple Wallet or Google Wallet. Takes a few seconds. It's super easy. Yeah. Anyone who wants a demo, we can show you.
So then it kind of pops something.
I think it makes it really easy to understand. So find Lydia, Katerina, and Rudy afterwards, and thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have Garde Bioscience. I'd like to introduce Rob Tenniswood. I'm also going to be the member sponsor for Garde Biosciences here, and I'd like to say that what attracted me to this business is how much work has gone into this business before ever starting it, and I'm sure Rob will speak to that. But they have a really solid team of advisors, of internal team that they have been working on this for a while with. And really, when it comes down to it, it is heads and shoulders above the current standard of care that's out there. So I'll not steal Rob's thunder. I'll let you take it away and tell us more about Garde Bioscience.
Thank you very much. Hi, I'm Rob. I'm the founder and CEO of Garde Bioscience. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetimes. Right now, the standard of care is a blood test that's about 50% accurate and biopsy, which misses about 4 out of every 10 tumors. Now, prostate cancer is a very slow-growing disease. Only about 30% of patients need to be treated at all. Unfortunately, we don't have the clinical tools necessary to differentiate between the patients who need treatment and those that don't. So 70% of patients are being treated unnecessarily for the prostate cancer. And of those men, about 2/3 will suffer from some sort of complication that can be with them for the rest of their lives. So I'm not just here to bum you out. There is a solution. It is the Garde prostate test. What we've developed is a $600 urine test that is 90% accurate at diagnosing prostate cancer. But it goes beyond detection, and we offer direction. What we've got is a risk classification tool where we can tell patients whether they have a low, moderate, or elevated risk of their prostate cancer becoming aggressive, helping the 30% of men who need treatment get it faster, and the 70% of men who don't need treatment avoid it entirely. And frankly, the market is screaming for this. So right now we're looking at the prostate cancer diagnostics market growing to $13.7 billion over the next 6 years, 5 years, which represents a 13.1% CAGR. In the States alone, they're spending $1.5 billion every year on unnecessary biopsies, just the biopsies. And while the population worldwide is growing, the number of practicing urologists is decreasing by 37% by the end of the decade per capita. So the need is there, wait times are growing. Right now, it's already 8 months. By the end of the decade, you're looking at a year. In terms of just the unit economics of the test, we've designed our test to be able to sell profitably at $600. With the 52 million men that are at risk of prostate cancer in our target demo in the initial markets, it's a $31.2 billion total market opportunity. In terms of our IP, we have guarded our trade secret and know-how with just great NDAs written by our lawyers. We collect patient data, and we have strong relationships in the industry that we've built over a decade. And that's all backing up our algorithm, which is the core of our technology, which can be used not just for prostate cancer, but can be adapted to other diseases. It's really a platform technology. To look at our competition, what we did is we started by talking to the urologists and to understand what they needed in their clinics in order to be able to develop a standard of care that they could trust. And so we understand that they need a test that's easy to collect, that finds prostate cancer, that identifies which patients actually need to be treated. The ones that we need a test that shortens treatment time, not lengthens it, and can be used for ongoing care, for active surveillance. And of course, it has to be accurate. We are 90% accurate in sensitivity and specificity. Our competitors can't touch that. In terms of our team, we're a mix of medtech executives and PhD researchers. We've built a board of advisors here that is comprised of one urologist and 2 CEOs from the BC medtech scene who are just instrumental in helping guide our path now. Now for the go-to-market, what we've done to date is we have developed the technology. If this went back beyond the start of the company, it would go back to 2013. That's when we started working on this technology. To date, what we've done is we've put together a functional test in silico on the computer, and we're raising money today to go towards our setting up our R&D lab, which we need to have to run our next test, our next clinical study, and get our filings ready for Health Canada. We'll be doing a Series A so that we can run that initial validation test, and a Series B so that we can run our clinical study, get our submissions ready, and to start a relationship with the contract sales organization so that as our regulatory approvals come in, we're ready to rock and roll. We'll be looking at an exit if it comes up. So today we're raising $600,000. I'm not going to stand here and tell you we've got a structure because we don't. We're looking for somebody to help us with that structure, put something together that works for everybody, to support our clinical filings, to establish the lab space, to actively recruit our medical advisory board here in Canada, and to start our efforts towards our Series A. Basically, we're looking to change the standard of care, and we're going to do it starting right here today. So if you have any questions, I'll be at the back table there if you want to find me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's open it up for Q&A here with the crowd. And first, I'll start us off by asking a little bit about that last year. I talked a little bit about sort of the work that's gone into this company before starting it, and so tell us a little bit about that and what you've accomplished over the last year. And we'll just remind everyone to keep all conversations till afterwards. I don't know if my ears are really sensitive, but I hear a lot of whispering happening in the back there, so we'll just keep that till afterwards. Thank you.
Yeah, so the question's basically, before and after the start of the company. So before we started the company, we had another company with all 5 of my co-founders, 4 of my co-founders and myself. I exited that company after about 9 or 10 years, 11 years, depending on the person. That company ran out of money with good technology, but it just ran out of money. In the process of doing that, we earned a whole ton of scar tissue. We learned a lot from it. We learned how to better approach the clinical environment. We learned better how to develop the technology so that we would be able to meet the standard of care instead of trying to replace it. Because I don't know if this would surprise you, but when you tell a urologist the best way to treat a patient is to not do what you've been doing your whole career, they don't want to hear it. So what we've done is we've come up with a way in the actual development of the technology to meet them where they are rather than trying to tell them that they're in the wrong place. And then since then, what we've done is we've taken all of that, all of those lessons, we've taken all of the things that we know about the industry and all of the relationships, and we've started from the ground up, rebuilt new technology that approaches the process from a much more reasonable position. And we have gotten to the point now where we're ready to run a validation study on a test that's ready to change prostate cancer care.
I saw we'll come to you in a moment here. We'll go to in the middle, yes.
So I saw you have specificity and sensitivity claims of 90%. Is this sort of in silico, or is this in wet lab with real patient samples?
Thank you for asking that. It's a very insightful question. So we have developed it using data sets that we collected at the previous company in silico. We did it with a public data set, really. It's now public. And we're ready to run that validation study where we collect in the wet lab to be able to run against that.
Is this a novel analyte that you're looking at?
We're looking at small nucleolar RNA, which is a subset of messenger RNA. Messenger RNA is about 3,000 nucleotides long. We're looking at small non-coding RNA. It's about 32 nucleotides long. That are excreted by the cancer tumor in the prostate through the urine that we test.
So is this part of is these particular length of RNA, is that already part of an established test that people already use, or they're routinely just ignored? Like, do you need to develop new machinery is my question.
No, the machinery exists. Thermo Fisher makes it. It's just off-the-shelf machinery that we use with our own algorithms to set up a lab.
Thanks for the question, Jonathan. I see a couple behind you there.
I'm just curious, you said something about reducing the need for biopsies.
Yeah.
Would there be any legal problems with, like, if you missed a biopsy, like if you diagnosed them as not risk and then they ended up, developing prostate cancer?
So when I said that we met the urologist, there's too much stuff. When I said we met the urologist where they are, what we're trying to do is insert the test to start between that PSA test and the biopsy. We're not going to be able to tell them not to use those tests, but we can provide them with better information than either of those tests have. And over time, develop the use case, which it all comes down to whether we can get that inserted into the standard of care by the national medical oversight committees.
So currently you're working alongside rather than in place of?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
There's a question next to you as well.
Yeah.
Oh, next there.
Thanks very much. I was wondering, two quick questions. One is, what data do you have on the pre-analytical variability, the timing, the volume, the temperature, storage or shipping? And then also for the percentage of patients that you've said, $600 is the price point, how did you come to that to determine that there's a willingness to pay at that price point?
Sure. So in terms of the shipping, we've done stability testing. So we know we can ship it using a specialized kit with basically an ice pack that goes in it along with the necessary packaging so that FedEx will take it. And we know we can ship that for 72 hours at that controlled temperature. And it's still, perfectly usable in the lab. There's no issues with it there. And that covers, with FedEx, you can get anywhere in the world in 24 hours. So I think we're covered there, even with, delays and things like that. And in terms of the second question, I've completely forgotten it. Price, $600 price, yeah. So there's two parts to that, because part of it is that for coverage, in Canada and the US, things like that, they have set price levels. In the US, it's $771 US. We want it to be underneath that, because we also want to be able to go direct to customer, because some patients just don't want to wait till they see their doctor or their urologist to get the test. $600, that's just from having conversations with as many people as I could about it and saying, listen, what would you pay if it meant that you had clear insight into what is probably an upsetting TSA result? The answer came out to be, average out to $600. That's one where people are like, that's a very comfortable price to pay.
Okay, fantastic. We've got one quick one here with Abdul at the front here.
I'll only take the best question.
Yes, just appreciate it, thank you.
I think you just get the technical questions work on. The fund, how are you going to make money? You're going to license it to labs? Is it done by the patients themselves, or how is it?
Well, it depends. There's two answers to that question. One is through the healthcare system, so we're starting in Canada. We're going to work with Health Canada to try and get it available through the hospitals.
So
right?
it's
you can get
self-administrated?
It can be as well, right? It's just peeing in a cup. You don't need any kind of doctor, I hope, any kind of doctor or nurse to do that.
But then the sample would be sent somewhere?
Packaged up, yeah, with the ice pack. It's called the VariaCool system, and shipped to the lab for us to run.
All right. Thanks so much, Rob.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, we have our last presenter of the evening here. So I'd like to introduce Richard McCullough and Richard Miller. Richard's going to introduce Richard McCullough and Celerity Craft, so I'll hand over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Richard Miller, and I'm here to introduce Celerity Craft. So I really like this deal. I personally have invested in it, and we've just finished an eFund due diligence report, which has recommended, and eFund is investing in Celerity Craft. So this is a unique deal. We looked at this and said this has the opportunity to change marine transportation. This is a unique product. It's based on 25, 30 years of development, and now it's going to be taken to market where it changes the way, replaces hovercraft, replaces a number of things. So Rich will go into more detail on that. We love the team, a lot of experience, brought in people from around the world that has experience in marine transportation. Richard's had 2 exits, and has made money on that and has built a plan showing how as investors, he plans to exit this company. All in all, it's a high risk, but if it wins, it's going to be a big win for everybody. So let me introduce you.
Thank you, Richard Miller. All right, over to you, Richard.
Okay, well, thank you, Richard. So the other day I was talking to the RCMP and I was astonished to learn it takes them $30,000 in fuel costs to go from Vancouver to Prince Rupert and back. That is an astonishing amount of money, but it's also an astonishing amount of emissions. And I got into this company because of the emissions. So the problem we're here to solve is that boats are slow, they use tremendous fuel, and that leads to incredible pollution, as well as the cost. Our mission, fix this problem. And we want to do it for most of the boating and shipping market. We're not interested in just occupying a small niche of it. We want to change the whole way that this is done. How do we do that with a dynamic air cushion vehicle? This is taking the theory of hovercraft and turning it completely on its head. First, we combine the thrust system and the lift system in one. We raise the vessel out of the water, but we use that same jet engine air, that same jet air to give us the thrust and the lift in one. This vastly simplifies the design. We also get rid of something awful called momentum drag. So we get 95% of the energy put in going into thrust, not 65%. And we make the design simpler, which means much less maintenance. So if we go back to this journey, we can halve the amount of costs, we can halve the emissions, and we can get there much, much faster. But if you're a commercial customer, the benefits are even more. Not only do you save on fuel, but faster means more journeys means more money. So less cost, more money, less emissions, or even zero emissions over shorter distances. The first vessel we're producing is 12 passenger. I have a model back there, come and see me afterwards. And once we've created that, we're going to expand in 3 dimensions, more sizes, go bigger, more markets, and more geographies. We've told investors we'll achieve these 5 things. We've already achieved 2 of these, and I want to give you an update on each of them. So we filed our first 4 patents. We are in the process today of building a 5.9 meter prototype. This is what we've been doing in the last 12 days. These guys are making amazing progress. Computational fluid dynamics is key. We have some of Canada's best experts working on this with us from 2 universities, as well as our own internal expert. And we're getting this concept together on that passenger vessel, which you'll see a 3D printed version of back there. Coming to customers, because this was what matters. We have an LOI negotiation with the groups on the Sunshine Coast. They're frustrated. It takes 3 to 5 hours to get there by car, ferry, car. We can get there in less than 90 minutes. And because we're out of the water, we don't have a propeller that's going to hit whales. We don't have noise imparted into the water that's going to damage the hearing and food supply for these whales. Market, we're already talking to the Canadian military. They like the fact that we can take 4 vessels and replace them with 1. That gives them mission flexibility. But our starting point with them is in the Arctic, where the advantage we bring is we can go on water, We can go on land and we can go on ice. That gives them coverage 4 seasons of the year that they do not have today. Market is going into consumers. This is completely inbound. We've had people saying, this is so cool, I want to buy one. We've taken our first 3 deposits, and we're going to do a marketing campaign later this year to see how we can apply this. Of course, we can go bigger. We're already in discussions with BC Ferries. They're watching what we're doing today, and if we get this done, you'll be riding on this over to Victoria in the future. So my background, I started on ships. I then worked on turbines with Rolls-Royce, who sponsored me to do my MBA at Harvard, and then did 3 startup companies, one as engineering manager, and as we heard, a couple of them. And then were a CEO, and we exited those, and then went on to be a venture capitalist, supported by Xavier Bernard, who was a space cadet with McDonnell Detweiler, and then moved to Tesla in problem solving, and Olin van der Leiden, who's taken 2 companies to exit with sales growth in the nearly 100 million twice in the last 5 years. CTO of NATO on board, chief engineer with the Royal Navy. They saw this and said, we've got to be on board. We're raising 1.5 million. We're at about 1 million today. eFund and What If are there. And we would like you to come and join us. We're going to close this in June. We got an EBC tax credit plus our RSP eligibility. And the reason we're closing this out in June is once we have that vessel on the water, inflection point in value, we'll be raising future money at higher rates. So we ask you to come and join us, invest, introduce us to others, and you're welcome to see the eFund due diligence report. Thank you.
All right, we have questions. I see one right behind you.
Part of eFund, and I was looking at your company, and when I was doing research, I found out that there was another company called Slipstream in 2013 that had an idea kind of similar like that. Can you tell us?
And in fact, it was the fathers of those people that created the original idea of this vessel back in 68, 69. Oh. They filed a patent originally in 67 that expired in the 1980s. I met them about 14 years ago and thought it was a brilliant idea then. I tried and encouraged them to get it working. Eventually, after many, many years, and they've had 20 years, actually 24 years of failure, I said, look, we've got to create a company to take this forward. So we've created a new company and we've left the door open to work with them.
Can I ask one last question? Okay, so how do you deal with choppy water, rough water, develops unexpectedly?
Yeah.
Do you have to tow it?
I think this is the number one risk that we identified as we got these world experts together, and we'll have data on that this summer. At the moment, we have a good theoretical answer. We don't have a good practiced answer where we've put it on water and tried it, but we will gather that data this summer. Our air cushion allows, the 3 hulls are very narrow, which allows us to cut through water extremely well. That means you have a much smoother ride than you have with regular planing vessels or with hovercraft that exist today. So we should get a smooth ride. We will have a bit of sacrifice on speed as you go from smooth to choppy water because you'll have more wetted surface area, and that's pure physics. So we won't be able to go at max speed as waves come, but we should travel through it extremely well and effectively. We'll be doing the test to prove the theory later.
Great. While we wait for other questions that might be coming, I'd like to dig in a little bit. We saw some of the customer conversations that you're having right now. Maybe just talk to us about the planned business model and path to market here.
So one of the challenges as investors, and I was a VC for 15 years, is capital companies are intensive. And so I am extremely conscious that it's the amount of money you put in, how long it takes, how much you owe, how long it takes, and the money you take out. And so what we want to do is we want to make a highly capital efficient business model. I had the fortune of running Brightside, where I learned the Dolby business model. What we're looking at doing is being like McLaren. We want to push the limits of technology to the extreme. We want to sell a few low volume, very high priced, high margin vessels that prove the technology, but then we want to license that to the rest of the world. And in that way, we can be capital efficient in how we take this company forward.
Any other questions? All right, Sharon.
Thank you. So the main, if I understood correctly, the main invention that you have is the engine?
The main invention is the combination of the fan thrust system and the hull that goes with it. And you need the match of those two things together to really create this and make it work. The engine is basically a fan, and that fan can be driven by electric motors, or it can be driven by gas motors or anything. So we're sort of power source agnostic, but how that fan brings the air in, channels it through the hull and releases it out of the stern is complex, because whenever you accelerate air, you lower pressure, but we need to increase pressure to raise it out. So that's where the specialty in this comes in.
And what's the TRL right now?
We're at about TRL 4 at the moment, and our aim is how can we quickly get that to TRL 7.
And how much capital are you thinking that you need in order to bring the first model to the market? How much more capital?
So there are two models back there that we can look at. We're building a half-scale prototype at the moment, and that's what our 1.5 million is for, along with the other 4 objectives that we've set ourselves. Once we have done that, we'll be doing a 5 million raise. We have a budget that's about 7.4, 7.5 million to get us to 2 of the first product articles. Our intent is to do a financing in 3 buckets, 5 million in equity, 5 million in grants, and we've just applied for a 3.5 million Ocean Supercluster grant, and then 5 million in ITBs, industrial technology benefits, which, by the way, if you're in our type of business, it's something that all of you should look at. But this is where somebody that sells something to the Canadian government for the military or for the Coast Guard, they have to match the value of that contract in Canada. So if they buy a motor from Korea that costs them 35 million, they have to offset that with working with a Canadian company. So we're going to use those as well, which means we might not need that later round, but we're not planning on that.
And since you're right there, Mike, you have a follow-up, and then we'll go to the back of the room. Oh, just beside you.
Yes, so Richard, the 5-meter vessel that's going to be on the water in this month, next month.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for this month. Our challenge is getting it painted, believe it or not, but
that's going to be a big deal, because like right now you've demonstrated small models, and I've seen them and they work, and your valuation right now is about 6 million, right?
Yeah, 6 million pre-money.
If we go up and take a spin in this thing in a month's time, that valuation is going to go up tenfold in a very short time.
I hope. I'm sure later investors will wrestle against that, but yes, we're definitely going to raise money at a higher value after June.
So am I right that that's sort of the biggest next step, because we've not seen this at the level where people can jump in and go for a ride?
That's correct.
That's going to be momentous achievement.
Yeah, and that's what we're working feverishly. I mean, you saw the progress the engineers have made in the last 2 weeks. It's stunning. I bow down to those guys. They're brilliant. Yeah, but we will raise money at a higher valuation once that's on the water and we can take it for a ride.
We do only have time for one more question. There was a question at the back, and then we will have to hold the rest for the networking and ask over a drink. So yes, please, your question.
Thank you so much. I didn't see anything in there about how you plan on pricing it. So how much does a unit cost as compared to its equivalent with the same capacity that is not so technologically forward?
Yeah, it's a good question. And I'm not sure I have a good answer. I look at some consumer vessels. The Axopar 37XC is a wonderful competition. It's a brilliant vessel. I hope we'll one day be able to wipe the floor with performance relative to that. It's priced at $540,000 on its consumer version. We don't intend to compete at that point. We intend to compete on the commercial side initially. There, we've been talking to 3GA, Naval Architect. They've just designed vessels of this sort of size and type that are currently selling for $2 million. So that sort of brackets the bottom and top end of where we expect this to be. Now, when I was running Brightside, I sold TVs for $100,000 to begin with and raised $300,000 to help us finance the company by doing that. And the next 12 we sold for $50,000. We'll use the same technique here. Let's start with a high price, make sure we make money even at that incredibly hard to build low volume level, and then skim down the cost curve.
Thanks so much, Richard. Mark, if we could go back to the slides here. So that just about does it here. I just would like to remind everybody to provide your top pick for the 90-second presenters. Any feedback, let us know if you're interested in those member-only discussions. You can do that online. You can do it at the paper copy that you have here as well. Let's get into some networking with all of the founders that presented here today. We do have our next pitch event at the BCIT Tech Collider on July 2nd, and there is an SUV Pitch Perfect preview the day after. And then we have our summer social on the 9th to round out before the summer. So thank you all for coming today, and let's enjoy a drink and have some good chats. Cheers.